All right, this is very important. You can have the right rod, the right bait, the right setup, all you want. But with this presentation, boat control and how you let the bait fall towards the piling is absolutely everything. Casting out here in the middle means nothing. You're not going to catch anything that way. You've got to put that bait right beside the piling. So you get yourself in position where you can make the cast right. But the key is, once I make the cast, see, I got it. It actually stuck to the bridge piling and shook it off, and it sunk right by the piling. You got to make sure that bait's free falling. That's why I like the braid. So you'll watch me when I'm fishing. I'm continuously feeding that bait line. Not only that, I'm watching my line. I'll let that line lay on the water, and I'm watching that line go down, go down, go down. Anytime I see the line stop before it's supposed to, I don't check it. I set the hook. If I see that line tick, just a little bit of, you'll see it just jump a little bit, and you know that you, without a doubt, that you didn't make that line tick, he got it. All right? Well, especially when you're fishing for spotted bass, and most times just fish in general on bridge pilings, the bite is not exaggerated. That bait's falling, he just gets it on the fall and keeps on swimming. So you're not going to see a lot of line jumpers. You really got to be very, very attentive and pay attention to what's going on. Concentrate on what that bait's doing. Watch how fast it falls. If it speeds up, he's got it. If it slows down or stops, a lot of times the most obvious way to tell you got a bite is when I'm letting that bait free fall just like it is now, the line will stop feeding down. I'm over 100 foot of water right now. So nothing should be stopping it from sinking. It's not going to hit the bottom, okay? So I'll let it fall, let it fall. I'll let it fall to whatever I think is maybe 15 or 20 feet. It's very seldom that I catch them much deeper than 20 foot on a bridge piling. Now you can, but it's very seldom that I do. Let it sink all the way down, and then I'll just reel it in. I don't shake it, even though it's called a shaky head. I'm not shaking the bait. I'm not putting any action on it at all. The action is just it falling. It's like a fallen shad just coming down by the bridge piling. Those fish are sitting right there on that in the shade of that piling. You'll notice when you're fishing bridge pilings, a lot of times the bites only come on one side. A lot of times that's because that piling, just like a dock, is throwing shade. So they use that shady side as an ambush point. Pay attention to where you catch them. It could be in the front. It could be in the front of the piling. It could be on the left side or the right side. But pay attention, and I bet almost always the bites are going to come on that same side. And most likely, it's going to be the shady side. See that one? It's a fat one too, though. How fat that thing is. You think you can catch one like that? No. Boat control, very, very important. It seems like it is a very simple way of fishing, but the complicated part is really not the bait. The complicated part is not the rod and the line. The most complicated part is presenting the bait and also keeping your boat in position to be able to present the bait correctly. There's not a lot of wind today, but there's just enough. There's a gentle breeze that will push the boat. It would, if I just let the boat do whatever it wants, it would gently just kind of coast out this way. Now, if I get on that side of the bridge, it's just going to continuously push the boat into the bridge, and I'm running the trolling motor more, which is going to eventually let the fish know that you are there. I'm not going to say to spook them, but it'll make the fish aware that you are around. I don't want the fish aware that I'm around. So what I like to do is I like to get on the downside where the wind's blowing. The wind's blowing this way, so I'm going to point my nose into the wind. That way I can let off the trolling motor a lot more, and when I do let off the trolling motor, it's pushing me away from the bridge. That's very important. So you can see I'm just going to set up here. I don't get far away from the bridge as well. I like to be within, I don't want to have to make a cast necessarily. If I do, it's just a short underhand cast. You can see right now I'm maybe 40 foot away. I don't want to get any more than 40 foot away. It just allows me to feel my line a lot better when I make the cast. So I'll throw it up there. Very, very important. First thing I do is absolutely nothing. You'll see I'll just keep feeding the line, and I watch my line as it's sinking down. It's sinking down, it's sinking down. As it begins to tighten up, as I see that bow in my line tighten up, I'll open my bill and give it some more line. And I just continuously watch that line to see what it's doing. If I see it tighten up, if I see it stop, the biggest thing is if it stops, oh, big boy got it. As I mentioned, one of my favorites also is a jerk bait. Now we're starting to get a little bit of a breeze, and it's hard to get that bait to sink vertically by the bridge piling. So if I can get that bait to stay in the strike zone, then I switch to something else. You can use a heavier bait, but if you got wind, use something that you can throw in wind. And one of the best ways to fish in the wind is a jerk bait or a reaction bait. Like I mentioned with the soft plastic, it's very, very important to get that bait right beside the piling. You want to bring it as close to the piling, almost touching the piling if you can. So I'll make a cast. You can see my wind. See, that's a horrible cast. I'm probably 10 foot away from the piling. Don't get frustrated if you don't get it exactly where you want. Just reel it back in and make another cast. A lot of times you can use the wind to your advantage. That thing went 20 foot. It's a, the wind just took it off. But use the wind to your advantage. Obviously it's blowing a little bit this way, so what I'll probably do is just position the boat to where I'm more on this side of the piling, so when it hooks, it's not as far away. But you'll have to find a cadence. This is not math. I can't tell you that you need to jerk pause a certain way. Each day will be a little different, and you have to figure that out day by day, sometimes hour by hour, or piling by piling. The good thing about a jerk bait is with today's forward-facing sonar, even with your 2D sonar, you can a lot of times see if fish are around the bridge piling. You can see them chasing your bait. You can see how they react to your bait. Don't worry about it if you don't have that equipment. You can see I'm not really using it to catch fish today. But if you do have it, a lot of times you can see the fish's reactions to your shaky head. You can see the fish reaction to your jerk bait and know whether you should throw a bait or not. If I throw it up there and I see the fish react or follow my soft plastic but not bite it, I know then it's a good time to maybe switch to a jerk bait. Or if I throw the jerk bait and they just keep following it and not biting it, I can know whether to speed it up, slow it down, change colors, or put it down altogether.
Good job. Go way to pull it to me. There you look. Go this way to pull it to me. I almost got it. Almost got it. Look at that, Brooks. Brooks, look at that big fish you caught. Yeah.
All right. Bridge fish. Catch them like that. Fine. Look how fat that thing is. Oh, come here, let me get my hands on it. Oh, look at that thing. Is she pregnant or what?
Caught so many on that bridge. Why were they on that bridge? Lake Russell. Boy, I tell you, that's our honey hole. We go there. Why all the six? Look at this one.
Lake Russell. I know exactly where you are. They hit you with that. I know exactly where you are. Sure, Gary, there's only 2 bridges on this whole lake, and one of them right there. The other one's right there.